Your Seattle Mariners are back at T-Mobile Park tonight, but will they be able to take advantage of their favorable matchup with the Angels? All that and more on today's episode of Locked On Mariners. Colby, hit it.
You are Locked On Mariners, your daily Seattle Mariners podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Locked On Mariners podcast, brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered all season long with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline is where the game starts. It is Friday, August 5th, 2022, and thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are free and available on all platforms, with new episodes dropping every single Monday through Friday. I am your Ty Gonzalez, joined as always by my co-host Colby Patnode. We cover the Mariners over at InsideTheMariners.com for Fan Nation over on the Sports Illustrated Network. Be sure to follow the show on Twitter at LO_Mariners. Follow Inside the Mariners at Inside Mariners. You can follow me at Dane Gonzalez, that's DANE, GNZLZ, and Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. Be sure to also check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/Control the Zone. We post 2 additional podcasts on there every single week. Again, that is patreon.com/Control the Zone. And if this is your first time joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast, welcome to the show. If you like what you hear, give us a follow or subscribe wherever you're listening to this. And if you're watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and give this video a thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. The Mariners are kicking off a 4-game and 3-day series against the Angels at T-Mobile Park starting tonight. And the doubleheader will be played tomorrow to make up for the second and final game of that 2-game series that they had initially scheduled back in early April that was postponed due to the lockout. But tonight we got Robbie Ray on the bump versus Patrick Sandoval. We're going to be talking about Robbie Ray and what he needs to do to get back on track later on in the show. We're also going to be talking about what expectations should be heading into the series. Should the Mariners sweep? Should that be the goal? Is it sweep or bust for the Mariners? We'll be talking about that in just a moment. But first, the Angels are coming into town a little bit banged up. Of course, Mike Trout not going to play in this one. And the last time that we saw this Angels team in general, they looked pretty different. Brandon Marsh, no longer there. Noah Syndergaard, no longer there. They have officially sold. They have gone in the complete opposite direction of the Mariners since the last time these two teams saw each other. And of course, the last time these two teams saw each other, they threw fists in each other's faces. And it was pretty fun. Jesse Winker, unfortunately, getting suspended along with Julio Rodriguez and JP Crawford. So I'm curious what you think about this, because obviously we know that the 40,000 plus fans that are set to be in attendance at T-Mobile Park tonight and tomorrow are certainly going to let the Angels know about it. But do you think this will actually carry over into the game? Do you think either one of these teams are going to pick up right where they left off in terms of the hatred for one another?
I think the Mariners are good. The Angels want to start something. They can. They don't have to worry about Mike Trout getting hurt. I mean, he'd be standing in the background anyways, not doing anything, so he wasn't going to get hurt either way. But yeah, I don't think the Mariners are I don't think they care enough to like retaliate because they're in a playoff race. They have bigger fish to fry, and honestly, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, stupid name, they're irrelevant. So why do you care about the most irrelevant team in baseball that somehow has 2 MVP candidates and is on their way to their 7th consecutive losing season? It's all Jerry's fault though, for reasons somehow. So no, I don't think the Mariners are going to retaliate or anything like that. Could the Angels try and start something? Yeah, they could. I mean, they're punks. We already knew that.
And they also don't have anything to lose at this point.
Right. And they're also managed by a fool, a chump, a loser. Am I being too cute with that language? I don't know. An absolute incompetent, terrible, worthless manager who's a disgrace to Major League Baseball. Is that on the nose enough? So yeah, I wouldn't put it past the Angels, but no, ultimately, I don't think anything really comes of this. I think if somebody accidentally gets hit, there's there's going to be some,
It's
let's
going to
be
get loud
smart,
in
people.
T-Mobile.
Yes, let's be smart though. Like if it's a curveball, like let's
Mhm.
calm down here. But yeah, because it's a 4-game series, because it's baseball, there's going to be a pitch that's somewhere near somebody's shoulders, and we'll see what happens, right? Because it's just that's the way it works. At least once a game, somebody gets knocked off their feet, whether it's intentional or not. Most of the time, we don't know. Sometimes we have a pretty good idea. Most of the time, we don't know, and I just don't see the Mariners like who are they going to throw at?
Yeah,
Luis
right.
Rengifo? Like who cares?
Yeah.
So no, I don't think the Mariners are going to start anything. I really don't think the Angels are either. I don't think they care enough to start anything at this point,
Mhm.
because that organization is a dumpster fire, which is floating through space, directionless. Like they have no chance. They're worthless as an organization.
Yeah, I feel like I should mention that once again, since Jerry DiPoto left, the Angels have never finished above 500.
And that will
So
continue.
it's almost been a full decade at this point. We're inching closer and closer to that mark now, and
To be fair to the Angels, you know, it's not like they have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani or a $220 million payroll. So like, what are they supposed to do?
you know,
Worthless.
it's pretty insane how incompetent that organization is and has been for so long. Two generational talents. I know that's kind of the same as Angels fans saying, "Oh, 20-year playoff drought," but it's
That's
sort
not
of
as bad as what the Angels are doing right now.
right. Like
It's not close. You have
it's
two
it,
Hall of Famer, arguably the two best players to ever play this game on the same team at the same time. You can't even
yeah.
win 81 games. Like you don't get to
It's
complain. You don't get to talk smack about anybody. You're
that's
done.
mind blowing. That's mind blowing, right? That's mind blowing that they can't even finish above
We're not talking
500.
about playoffs. We're talking. Can you win 81 games? And so far, the answer has been no. Like, how incompetent do you have to be? People,
God.
oh well, the Mariners had like Griffey and A Rod and Randy and Edgar, and they never won the World Series. They made the playoffs at least. They
Mhm.
finished about 500 at least. Like, you don't have a leg to stand on. Like, it's really pathetic. And surprise, Angels fans are pathetic. Who knew? I'm just saying, maybe you're not pathetic, but have some self respect. Demand better. So
I'm very interested to see here what is the most games Shohei Ohtani has ever won as a member of the Angels, or well,
like
how
in a
many games
season,
have the Angels won in a season with Shohei
77.
Ohtani?
That's my
77.
guess.
80. 80 is the most. So they were
Oh, they
one
got really
off.
close.
They were one off of
Oh,
500.
you guys
Oh,
almost got there. That's
yeah, good job,
adorable.
buddies. Yeah,
Almost
and
got there with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout.
the
Wow.
year before that as well, they finished with 80 wins. So they did not improve
Oh,
whatsoever with the addition of Shohei Ohtani.
so close, guys.
Yeah.
Maybe
Then they
next year,
won.
huh? Ah.
Then they won 72 in 2019, 26 in 2020, 77 in 2021, and they're at 44 and 61 right now heading into this series. And of
So
course,
is
like I mentioned,
sorry, is
sorry, go
2019 the
ahead.
last year they had a better record than the Mariners?
2019?
Yes, because the Mariners won like 68 games that year.
Probably, yeah. So I would assume that, because I don't think that they finished above them in the 2020 season, because the Mariners
No,
I think
they
won
didn't.
28 games that year.
Yeah, I think they went 27 and 28 and 32. I think.
Yeah, the Mariners won 68 games. So
Look
close.
at you, little guy. You're so close.
The Mariners were so close to perfection in 2019, though. So close. So close. All right. Now, as I mentioned, this Angels team has changed quite a lot since we last saw them, and they are, I mean, there's no way around it. They're worse than when we saw them, which, yikes. The Angels, but worse? Ugh. Wow. That's something. So we're going to be talking about that in just a moment. But real quick, a reminder, this episode of Locked On Mariners is brought to you by Blue Nile. Whether you're ready to pop the question or you're celebrating a milestone moment, find jewelry as unique as them with the modern convenience of online shopping at BlueNile.com. Blue Nile has simple online tools that let you choose the diamond shape, size, and clarity, as well as setting style. Blue Nile's bench jewelers will then handcraft their perfect engagement ring, and each ring will be a one-of-a-kind. Looking for fine jewelry but having trouble choosing? Blue Nile has jewelry experts on hand 24/7, available via phone or chat to help you find a memorable gift at every budget. Make your moment sparkle with jewelry from BlueNile.com, and going on now is the Blue Nile Anniversary Sale. Save up to 40% on classic fine jewelry pieces and 25% on engagement ring settings. Plus, every order is insured, ships free, and arrives in discreet packaging that won't give away what's inside. Shop stress-free and find your forever piece. Go to BlueNile.com today. You're listening to the Locked On Mariners podcast. Thank you again for making us your first listen of the day, just like you do here every single day. We greatly appreciate your support. So yes, no Mike Trout in this series, which thank God, because the last time we saw Mike Trout in Seattle, it did not go very well for the Mariners. So no Mike Trout. Shohei Ohtani is not pitching either. The pitching matchups are very favorable for the Mariners. And of course, Brandon Marsh is gone. Raisel Iglesias is gone. Noah Syndergaard is gone. This team is considerably worse. Now, of course, they do still have some relatively nice pieces. Obviously, Shohei Ohtani is still one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the entire world. But you're only seeing the hitting version of him. You're not seeing the pitching version of him. There is, of course, Taylor Ward, Luis Rengifo. They have some nice pieces that can do damage on any given day. But I think the Mariners should at least walk away from this series with 3. But, Colby, is it sweep or bust for the M's this weekend?
No, it's not. It'd be nice. It'd be great. But no, because last time I checked, the Angels are still a Major League Baseball team. I don't think they've been relegated quite yet. So I still think that, like you mentioned, that Jared Walsh and is Walsh healthy? I think Fletcher's back now too. So, Fletcher being the guy the Mariners actually have to worry about, not Shohei Ohtani. So they have pieces, and I would say that the Angels are going to come in here and play hard, but no, probably not. So I don't think it's sweep or bust. It's hard to beat any team four times in a row, even one that's like barely major league quality in the Angels. But this is like the opportunity that we talk about where you kind of look at the schedule and you say, oh, well, that's easy. That's hard. That's hard. Well, imagine looking at this game, this 4-game stretch, even 4 weeks ago and saying like, oh yeah, I mean, you got to sweep that series. And it's like, no, but you are catching the Angels at the perfect time right now. So you do want to take advantage. I think you have to win 3 out of these 4. They don't have to be pretty wins. You can win on a wild pitch for all I care, but you just have to find a way to win 3 out of 4 here. And if you can get the sweep, great. But it's about winning series, especially these ones where you have to take advantage of a team that's down bad. And so you can kind of start to stack some wins together and kind of create the buffer zone that you're looking for. So beating these teams like the Angels later in the year, beating Detroit, like those wins are important. And it's probably too much to expect perfection against any team, but you don't want to split this series because then you have to kind of steal a series from somewhere else. And maybe you just steal a series from the Yankees again, Monday through Wednesday. That's possible, but win this series and you can kind of, win the series, face the Yankees, and then you're kind of more or less done with the really hard part of your schedule until early mid-September when you have to play like 3 series in a row against decent teams. So, you got to find a way to win the series and get greedy and go in game 4 too.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the doubleheader goes tomorrow, especially with Mariners bullpen not in the best of shape right now. But they are getting reinforcements, not necessarily in the bullpen, but the team as a whole is expected to get Ty France back tonight. And Mitch Haniger might be also on the way. We'll have to see. Jerry DiPoto yesterday on 710 Seattle Sports saying that they're waiting for basically Haniger to tell them when he's ready. But it has been speculated for a while now that tonight will be the night that Haniger returns to the lineup for the Mariners, so that would certainly help. And of course, Jake Lamb is expected to be added to the 26-man roster as well, following his acquisition on deadline day. So the Mariners going to be looking a little bit different on the offensive side of things tonight, a little bit stronger there. Let me ask you, with Haniger, obviously he has declined defensively over the last couple of years, over the last year that he has played. And now you throw a high ankle sprain into that after, now he's been away from the game for almost 3 months now, it's been 3 months now. So how much do you think we can realistically expect Haniger back in the outfield, and how much do you think we can realistically expect him to play on a weekly basis?
That's the great question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think, this is, again, one of those things where you kind of let Mitch tell you. And I think for me, it would really be helpful if he could play right field, 4 times a week, and then DH 2 times a week, and then get 1 day off. And again, thankfully, the Mariners' schedule right now is you get a day off every Thursday for the rest of the month, more or less. So you can kind of maneuver Mitch around and give him back-to-back days off and all that stuff. So schedule actually lines up with us okay. You can also now give Ty France a day off and have Carlos Santana play first, try and get that wrist as good as it can be. So it's not that hard to maneuver Mitch around here. But I think, like, for maximum flexibility, Haniger being able to play right field 4 days a week, roughly 4 out of every 7 games, let's say. I think that's kind of the ideal mark you're looking for here, because then at that point you can still get Kyle Lewis in there if you want to a little bit. You can still get Santana in there. You can still get Lamb in there without really taking away from anybody else. If Haniger has to kind of DH like 5 times a week, things get really muddy, and at that point you just kind of cut Kyle Lewis loose and send him down to AAA, because Haniger is better than Kyle Lewis. So I think 4 times a week would be a really good target for the Mariners, especially now when they can kind of, hey, we'll give Mitch Wednesdays and Thursdays off every week until September.
So Robbie Ray is back on the bump tonight, and it's been a struggle for him his last couple times out. So what does he need to do to get back on track? Going to be asking Colby that in just a moment. But real quick, a reminder, this episode of Locked On Mariners is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs. Find all your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. Find reviews and news of every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports wagering information. From live in-game betting, scores, and podcasts, they have you covered. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about the action happening today. BetOnline is where the game starts. So Robbie Ray was one of the best pitchers in baseball for about a month, but coming out of the All-Star break, it's been nothing short of a nightmare for him, especially that start that he had in Houston, his last start. What does he need to do to get back on track here, Colby, going up against a lineup that he, of course, shut down the last time he faced them, and, of course, isn't going to have Mike Trout in it?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they put the lefties in there. You remember last time Ohtani and Walsh both got the day off. So we'll see what they decide to do there. But assuming they're in there, it's going to come down to, obviously, the slider for Ray is always going to be a huge pitch. You don't have to throw for strikes, but you have to get it near the zone. And really, for the last couple times out, or at least when he's faced the Astros the last few times out, the slider just hasn't even threatened the strike zone. It's been bounced a lot. It's been way outside. The 2-seamer leagues kind of started to make an adjustment on that, which is fine. because Robbie does have the tools to make that work. I think for me, it just comes down to the slider. He has to be able to spot it just off the outside corner of the lefties. He has to be able to bury it down and into the righties. And then the two seamer, you have to. Yeah, I think the two seamer could be a really good pitch here, even against the lefties. Try and get that in on their kitchen, jam them up a little bit. So yeah, you can be a little more aggressive with this lineup. You don't have to be as nitpicky with your location. You still have to throw quality strikes, but it's not like, oh man, it's 3-1. I have to throw this fastball to Jose Altuve right down the middle because I don't want to deal with Yordan Alvarez. It's, oh, I'm behind 3-1 to Jared Walsh. Okay, well, Mikey Moniak or whoever is up next. Like, maybe I can try a slider here and see if I can get this guy out. So to me, it's just being a little more aggressive in the zone, and it's finding that slider command. If you could throw a couple sliders for strikes just to show that he can do it, then it's going to expand the zone for him. And I think that's kind of the key right now with Robbie Ray. Start racking up a few more strikeouts. Don't abandon the two-seamer, but you got to be near the zone with both pitches. Otherwise, they'll just sit on you, and they'll wait for that four-seam fastball.
Yeah. Like to see him be a little aggressive against a lineup like this, just go right after him, see what happens. And I'd like to see the sinker quite a bit, try to generate weak contact, try to keep the ball on the ground, especially to Ohtani, try to get that in on him and see if he can roll it over. So, that's really like, I mean, obviously Taylor Ward's had a pretty good year, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit here as the year has progressed. David Fletcher's been, he's hitting for 73 WRC plus since he returned, but of course he's always been a nightmare to face from the Mariners' perspective. There's guys that can do some damage, but really at the end of the day, you should be able to work through this lineup efficiently, and especially if you're someone like Robbie Ray, who has the stuff that Robbie Ray has, especially the swing and miss stuff. So would like to see high strikeout total tonight, see him get back and try to get deep into this game and try to take the burden off of the bullpen here before the doubleheader tomorrow, because they're going to need those guys most likely tomorrow. So yeah, I would love to see Ray get into the 7th, maybe even the 8th tonight. That would be huge for the Mariners moving forward throughout this the rest of the series. So all right, final thoughts before we hop off here about the series. Any cause for concern, anything you're excited to see tonight or over the course of the weekend? I'm pretty intrigued to see Jake Lamb and how they deployed Jake Lamb and kind of see what that plan is from the Mariners. Anything else that you're interested to see from the Mariners this weekend?
Luis Castillo. I know he's not pitching, but just like seeing him.
Yeah, just cut
the hair
like in between pitches.
Yeah. Which they will do a ton. No, it's just kind of one of those things. Interested to see Ty France back in the lineup. I hope he's able to swing the bat without like shaking his wrist immediately. That'd be a really nice sign.
Yeah.
We'll see if Mitch is back again. That's kind of up to Mitch. But obviously that would be huge, and Mitch is a fan favorite. So I'm sure he'll get a nice ovation and things like that, and just kind of start to see how they plan to piece together this lineup. I don't know if Lamb's going to be in the lineup tonight. I honestly, I don't know who the Angels are throwing out there, what schlub they're throwing out there tonight.
It's Patrick Sandoval.
So probably not.
He's probably their best pitcher now at this point.
Right. So yeah, Sandoval's good. He's not a schlub.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lamb probably not going to be in the lineup tonight. I imagine Lewis will be. But we'll see. So yeah, I'm hoping Mitch, we get a notification here in a couple hours that Mitch has been activated. I would like to see him tonight. And then I'm looking at Ty France's at bats very closely. I want to see how the wrist is. They kind of gambled here and they didn't put him on the IL, and maybe they should have. They might not need him against the Angels, but we'll see. I mean, I think I feel pretty confident he's going to be in the lineup tonight, and I'll be watching his swings very carefully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So hopefully he's able to get through this healthy, and if everyone can get through this weekend healthy, and that's including Mitch Haniger and Ty France, good chance Julio Rodriguez rejoins the ball club either Monday or Tuesday. Still not sure exactly if the IL stint for him was retroactive to Saturday, to the Saturday that he got hurt or not, because if that is the case, he can be activated on Monday. If not, then it's Tuesday. So we'll see what happens with that. But it's a very, very good possibility here that if everyone stays healthy throughout the weekend, the Mariners will be able to meet up with the Yankees at T-Mobile Park and put together arguably the best lineup they fielded this entire year. So very, very exciting stuff. All right. Well, that's going to do it for our show, and that's going to do it for the weekend. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Locked On Mariners podcast. For Colby Patnode, I'm Ty Gonzalez. Be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at @LO_Mariners. You can follow Inside the Mariners at Inside Mariners. You can follow me at Dane Gonzalez, DaneGNZLZ, and Colby at CPAT11, that's CPAT11. You can also find all that stuff in the description of this episode. And thank you again for making us your first listen of the day. Now make your second listen the Locked On MLB podcast. MLB expert Paul Francis Sullivan brings humor, passion, and unique perspective on every team and the biggest stories around the league. Follow the #1 daily league-wide podcast, Locked On MLB, on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts just like us. And with that, have yourself a beautiful baseball weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Peace.